She was the descendant of a Greek family that had been ruling Egypt for about 300 years when Alexander the Great in 332 BC.
In fact, she seems to have been the first one of all these Ptolemy kings who actually bothered to learn to speak Egyptian.
Weirdest things you didn't know about Cleopatra. Here comes a woman who could outsmart the sharpest minds of her time and orchestrated political moves so daring that they reshaped the ancient world. Meet Cleopatra, the last queen of ancient Egypt. The queen who defied time and history, from betrayal to war, love and tragedy. Here's a look at some of the most weirdest facts about Cleopatra that will leave you speechless.
She was the descendant of a Greek family that had been ruling Egypt for about 300 years when Alexander the Great in 332 BC.
1. Cleopatra wasn't Egyptian. Let's start with the most shocking revelation. Cleopatra wasn't even Egyptian to begin with. She was Macedonian Greek, descended from Ptolemy the Phensota, one of Alexander the Great's trusted generals. However, she easily managed to bridge her Greek lineage with Egyptian culture and secured the loyalty of her people. A queen who could transcend cultural boundaries. That's Cleopatra for you. 2. She was multilingual. What made her even more enigmatic was the fact that Cleopatra was a linguistic marvel, fluent in at least 9 languages, including Greek, Egyptian, Hebrew, Aramaic, and possibly even Persian. This wasn't just a party trick, it was a political weapon. In a world dominated by men, Cleopatra's mastery of languages allowed her to control conversations and command respect. 3. Her name means glory of her father. Cleopatra's name itself is a testament to her lineage. Derived from the Greek words kleos, glory, and pater, father, it literally means glory of her father. With a name like that, Cleopatra was destined to leave an indelible mark on history. 4. Cleopatra's beauty wasn't her greatest asset. Forget the Hollywood portrayals of Cleopatra as merely a stunning beauty. Ancient sources like Plutarch remind us that her intelligence, charisma, and wit were her true weapons. Cleopatra could hold her own in intellectual debates, charm with her melodic voice, and strategize like a seasoned politician. She was proof that brains trump beauty when it comes to wielding power. 5. She was a chemist. Cleopatra's curiosity knew no bounds. She delved into the sciences, particularly alchemy and pharmacology. She didn't just use cosmetics, she reportedly created them, experimenting with perfumes and skincare formulations. Some even believe she wrote a manual on cosmetics and medicine. 6. She married her brothers. In a twist that only ancient history can provide, Cleopatra married not one, but 2 of her brothers. This wasn't a choice made for love, but for tradition and power. Egyptian royal customs dictated sibling marriages to keep the bloodline pure. 7. Her relationship with Julius Caesar was strategic.
On the one hand, we talk about seduction, and on the other hand, we talk about political maneuvering. We can actually have both. Rome is the biggest power in the Mediterranean.
When Cleopatra met Julius Caesar, she wasn't just looking for an ally, she was fighting for her survival. After being ousted from the throne by her brother, Cleopatra knew Caesar could help her reclaim her power. Their alliance wasn't just romantic, it was deeply strategic. Cleopatra secured her throne, while Caesar gained access to Egypt's wealth and resources. Together, they were a power couple that changed the course of history. 8. The famous carpet entrance. Cleopatra's meeting with Caesar is the stuff of legends. To gain an audience with him, she had herself smuggled into his quarters wrapped in a rolled-up carpet. When the carpet was unfurled, there she was, radiant and persuasive. This dramatic entrance wasn't just a stunt, it was a calculated move to captivate Caesar's attention and secure his support, and it worked spectacularly. 9. Cleopatra and Caesar had a son. Cleopatra's alliance with Caesar bore fruit, literally. As Caesar's only known biological son, Caesarion was a living symbol of their union and a potential heir to both Rome and Egypt. Cleopatra's ambitions for her son's future were boundless. 10. She was the wealthiest person of her time. In a world of emperors and kings, Cleopatra stood as one of the wealthiest individuals of her era. Egypt's vast resources, including its fertile Nile Delta and lucrative trade routes, filled her coffers. Some historians estimate her wealth in modern terms would rival the richest figures in history. Cleopatra didn't just rule Egypt, she controlled an empire of unimaginable riches. 11. She commanded a navy. Cleopatra wasn't content with ruling from a palace. She led from the front. As a naval commander, she oversaw Egypt's fleets, personally strategizing and participating in battles. Her leadership during the Battle of Actium, though ultimately unsuccessful, showcased her bravery and tactical acumen. Cleopatra was a warrior queen in every sense, and her desire to contribute to the intellectual legacy of her era. 13. Her love affair with Mark Antony was legendary. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra found a new ally and lover in Mark Antony. Their relationship wasn't just romantic, it was a partnership of equals. Together, they envisioned a world where East and West could coexist under their joint rule. Their bond was so powerful that it inspired countless works of art, literature, and drama, cementing their place as one of history's most iconic couples. 14. She formed a drinking club. Cleopatra and Antony's shared love for revelry led to the formation of the Inimitable Livers, a society dedicated to extravagant feasts and drinking. These gatherings weren't just about indulgence, they were displays of their wealth and power, solidifying their image as larger-than-life figures. 15. She once bet she could host the most expensive dinner ever. Cleopatra wasn't just wealthy, she knew how to flaunt it. To win a bet with Antony, she dissolved a priceless pearl in vinegar and drank it. This act wasn't just about extravagance, it was a demonstration of her unrivaled opulence and ingenuity. 16. Cleopatra's opulent lifestyle was unmatched.
He meets Cleopatra, and he has a big love affair with her. And this one seems pretty genuine. Antony and Cleopatra, there's a lot of stories about them kind of partying together. They like to sort of cosplay and dress up.
Cleopatra's court was the epitome of luxury, filled with golden thrones, intricately carved furniture, and silken drapes. The queen herself was adorned in finely spun gold and jewels that glittered like stars. Her banquets were legendary, featuring exotic foods from across the known world and wines so rare they were worth their weight in gold. This wasn't just extravagance, it was her way of showcasing Egypt's unmatched wealth and power, intimidating allies and enemies alike. 17. She used perfume as political power. Cleopatra's fascination with scent wasn't just about personal allure, it was a calculated strategy. Her perfumes were crafted to leave an unforgettable impression, lingering long after she departed. She even had her ship's sails soaked in perfume so that the breeze would carry her enchanting presence to distant shores. For Cleopatra, scent was a weapon of influence, used to captivate and command. 18. She mastered the art of political theater.
So Cleopatra would dress up as the goddess Isis, and Antony would dress up as the god Dionysus in a leopard skin, and they'd have these big parties and stuff.
Cleopatra didn't just rule, she performed. She often appeared in public as the living embodiment of the goddess Isis, dressed in flowing robes and adorned with symbols of divine power. These appearances weren't just for show, they reinforced her divine right to rule, blending religion with politics to solidify her authority. 19. She personally negotiated with Octavian.
Because she was clearly a very smart woman who managed to keep Egypt alive as an independent state.
When the Roman general Octavian, later Augustus, threatened her kingdom, Cleopatra didn't send emissaries. She negotiated face to face. She reportedly used all her wit, charm, and persuasive skills to try and sway him. While the meeting ultimately failed to secure her kingdom, it highlighted her willingness to confront danger head-on. 20. Cleopatra had her own fleet of warships. Cleopatra's navy wasn't just vast, it was a testament to her strategic brilliance. Her ships were equipped with cutting-edge technology for the time, including bronze rams and catapults. Her flagship was a floating palace, complete with luxurious accommodations, blending power with extravagance. At the Battle of Actium, her fleet was a formidable force, showcasing her commitment to defending her empire. 20-man. She knew how to manipulate symbolism. Cleopatra's intelligence shone in her use of symbols. She minted coins with her image, ensuring her face was seen across her empire. These coins didn't depict her as a traditional beauty, but as a strong, determined leader. Every symbol, from her crown to her pose, was carefully chosen to reinforce her authority and divine status. 21. She built an eternal legacy. Cleopatra didn't just live for her time, she crafted a legacy meant to endure. From her grand architectural projects like temples and monuments to the stories she inspired in literature and art, Cleopatra ensured that her name would echo through the ages. Even today, her legend continues to captivate the world, proving her mastery in shaping how history would remember her. 23. Cleopatra lived as a goddess. Cleopatra didn't just associate herself with Isis, she lived as if she were divine. Festivals were held in her honor, where she appeared as the goddess incarnate with flowing robes and sacred jewelry. These appearances weren't just displays of opulence, they were carefully orchestrated moments that tied her rule to the gods, elevating her status beyond mere mortal rulers. 24. She fought against all odds. Cleopatra's reign wasn't an easy one. Surrounded by Roman aggression, internal strife and betrayal, she had to navigate treacherous waters to keep Egypt independent. Despite losing pivotal battles, she remained defiant to the end, demonstrating resilience and courage that few rulers could match. 25. She commissioned spectacular monuments.
Cleopatra was a great patron of the arts. She encouraged cultural growth and promoted Alexandria as the cultural epicenter of the world.
Cleopatra's architectural projects were symbols of her power and devotion to Egypt. She added to the great temple of Hathor and funded the construction of elaborate monuments, blending Greek and Egyptian styles. These structures not only showcased her wealth, but also her deep respect for the land she ruled. 26. She used astrology to her advantage. Cleopatra was a firm believer in the power of the stars. She consulted astrologers to determine auspicious times for political and military decisions. Astrology wasn't just a personal interest, it was a way to align herself with the divine and secure her people's faith in her leadership. 27. She was a patron of the arts. Cleopatra's court was a hub of culture and creativity. Poets, artists, and scholars thrived under her patronage. She understood the power of art to inspire loyalty and elevate her reign, ensuring that her court was both intellectually stimulating and artistically vibrant. 28. Her knowledge of medicine was exceptional. Cleopatra didn't just rely on court physicians, she was an expert in her own right. She knew her an early pioneer in pharmacology. Her understanding of medicine was so advanced that some believe she conducted experiments to improve treatments for her people. 29. She embraced exotic animals. Cleopatra's palace was home to a menagerie of exotic animals, from lions to leopards and even crocodiles. These creatures weren't just for display, they symbolized Egypt's strength and diversity. Cleopatra's love for animals was another way she demonstrated her connection to the natural and divine worlds. 30. Cleopatra influenced Roman fashion. Cleopatra's style wasn't just admired in Egypt, it influenced the Roman elite as well. Her elaborate hairstyles, use of eyeliner, and luxurious fabrics became the height of fashion in Rome, proving that her impact extended far beyond politics. 31. She made bold political moves. Cleopatra's alliances with Caesar and Antony weren't just personal, they were calculated political strategies. She positioned herself as a crucial player in the Roman power struggle, ensuring that Egypt remained a key player on the world stage. 32. She controlled the Nile's wealth. The Nile River was the lifeblood of Egypt, and Cleopatra controlled it with precision. Its fertile banks provided food, trade opportunities, and wealth. Cleopatra's mastery over this resource ensured her kingdom's prosperity and made Egypt an invaluable ally to Rome. 33. She had a grand vision for an empire. Cleopatra's ambitions went beyond maintaining her kingdom. She dreamed of a vast empire stretching from Egypt to the eastern Mediterranean. With Caesarion as her co-ruler, she envisioned a dynasty that could rival Rome's might. 34. Her death is shrouded in mystery.
A 2,000-year-old mystery that's confounded top archaeologists. The world's most famous queen, lost without a trace.
Cleopatra's death is one of history's most enduring mysteries. While the popular tale suggests she died from a snake bite, some historians believe she used a poisoned comb or other means. What remains certain is that her death marked the end of Egypt's independence and the beginning of Roman rule. 35. She was an icon of feminine power.
I mean, she's probably one of the most influential women in human history.
She's certainly, again, she's someone that her image is incredibly important.
Yes.
In a male-dominated world, Cleopatra proved that women could rule with intelligence, strength, and charisma. Her life and legacy continue to inspire women around the world, symbolizing resilience and ambition. 36. Cleopatra was a master negotiator. Cleopatra's diplomatic skills were legendary. She secured alliances and treaties that protected Egypt from Roman aggression. Her ability to charm and persuade even the most powerful leaders of her time was a testament to her political genius. 37. She inspired Shakespeare. Cleopatra's life was so dramatic that it became the subject of one of Shakespeare's greatest tragedies, Antony and Cleopatra. The play immortalized her as a complex, passionate, and powerful woman, solidifying her place in literary history. 38. She left behind no tomb. Despite her immense power and wealth, Cleopatra's final resting place remains a mystery. Archaeologists continue to search for her tomb, which is said to be hidden near Alexandria. The mystery of her burial only adds to her enigmatic legacy. 39. She embraced both Greek and Egyptian cultures. Cleopatra seamlessly blended her Macedonian Greek heritage with Egyptian traditions. She ruled as a pharaoh while respecting her Ptolemaic ancestry, creating a unique fusion of cultures that strengthened her reign. 40. She was a symbol of resistance.
Cleopatra is concerned that the people of the capital city should have enough to eat.
Cleopatra's defiance against Rome's encroachment made her a symbol of resistance and national pride. Her determination to maintain Egypt's sovereignty inspired loyalty among her people and fear among her enemies. 41. Cleopatra's feasts were unrivaled. Cleopatra hosted banquets that were the stuff of legend. Her dining halls glittered with gold, and her tables were laden with delicacies from across the empire. These feasts weren't just about indulgence, they were displays of Egypt's wealth and her own magnanimity as a ruler. 42. She used spies to maintain control. Cleopatra's court was filled with intrigue, and she maintained a network of spies to stay informed about potential threats. Her ability to gather intelligence ensured that she stayed one step ahead of her enemies. 43. She was a symbol of fertility. As a mother and a ruler, Cleopatra embodied fertility and abundance. She aligned herself with Isis, a goddess associated with motherhood and life, reinforcing her image as a nurturer of Egypt and its people. 44. Cleopatra's voice was her greatest weapon.
I do not grant private audiences to unidentified persons.
Ancient sources describe Cleopatra's voice as captivating, melodic, and persuasive. Her ability to speak eloquently and passionately was one of her most powerful tools in winning allies and influencing decisions. 45. She defied traditional gender roles. In an era where women were often relegated to the background, Cleopatra ruled as a sovereign in her own right. She defied traditional gender roles, proving that a woman could be as capable and formidable as any man. 46. She reinvented herself constantly. Cleopatra was a master of reinvention. Whether as a goddess, a queen, or a lover, she adapted her image to suit the needs of the moment. This flexibility allowed her to remain relevant and powerful throughout her life. 47. She was a military leader. Cleopatra wasn't just a political figure, she was a military strategist. She personally led troops into battle and made key decisions during military campaigns, showcasing her courage and leadership. 48. Cleopatra's library rivaled the Great Library of Alexandria. Cleopatra was a patron of knowledge, and her private library was said to rival the Great Library of Alexandria. This collection of texts and scrolls reflected her dedication to learning and the advancement of science and culture. 49. she had an unshakable will. No matter the obstacles, Cleopatra never wavered in her determination to secure Egypt's future. Her resilience in the face of betrayal, loss, and defeat remains one of her most inspiring qualities. 50. Cleopatra's legend lives on. Cleopatra's story didn't end with her death. Her life has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film, ensuring that her legacy endures. She remains a symbol of power, intelligence, and ambition, a queen who truly did the ages. So which of these facts took you by surprise? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.